Hello everyone and welcome back to Nomad Programming. There are a variety of elements related to text in HTML, each serving different roles. I will cover these elements in details, starting with the paragraph element. We'll categorize these elements into several key areas: structural and semantic text, elements that define the meaning and organization of text; typography and formatting, these elements that control the visual presentation of text; programming and output, these elements that handle code snippets and output display; lists and definitions, elements used to create lists and define terms; miscellaneous and additional elements for context, additional elements that provide extra context or formatting. We'll also cover specific text direction elements, which are crucial for handling text in different writing directions. Let's dive in and start with the paragraph element. What is the paragraph element? The paragraph element represents a paragraph of text in HTML. It is a block level element, meaning it creates a new block of content and automatically adds a margin or space above and below the paragraph. The paragraph element is both a semantic element and one that affects the layout and structure of a page. Semantic role of the paragraph element. The paragraph element conveys meaning to both browsers and users, including assistive technologies like screen readers. It tells the browser that the enclosed text is a paragraph representing a block of text that forms a complete section of content. Improved accessibility. By using the paragraph element, you're helping to ensure that your page is readable by all users, including those using assistive devices. Screen readers, for example, will interpret and announce it as a paragraph, improving navigation and understanding of the page's content. Block level element. The paragraph element is a block level element, meaning it creates its own block on the page. By default, it takes up the full width of its container and adds space, usually margins before and after itself. This separates paragraphs visually, helping with readability and the flow of content. Now we're going to see how to add a paragraph element. Over here, I'm just going to open the view panel. In the body section, I'm going to add an article element. So just type the article element and a main title for the page using the h1 element, the main page title. Okay, now I'm going to add a section element and a subheading for this section element, section 1, using the h2 heading, of course. And now we'll add our first paragraph inside of this section. Section 1, some text. Okay, I will add another paragraph element over here. Oops, section 1, even more text. Okay. And now I will add another section inside of the article element, contains another subheading, an h2 element. This is a section 2 subheading and a paragraph with some text. Section 2. Some text and another paragraph over here. Section 2, more text. Okay, so this is how you add the paragraph element, and as you can see, we have an article that contains 2 sections and within them are the paragraph elements. The paragraph element can contain any inline content, including letters and numbers, symbols and special characters, mathematical notations with simple HTML entities or markup, icon through web fonts or images. There is no hard limit on how much inline content a paragraph element can hold, but large amounts of content or numerous inline elements may slow down the rendering process slightly, especially on lower-end devices. However, for practical purposes, there is no need to worry unless you're adding extremely large amounts of inline content. On the browser over here, we're going to inspect the page, hit Ctrl-Shift-I. Let's go to the articles section and the sections to see the paragraph elements over here. In the inspector panel, you can see how the paragraph elements are on the browser. Let's go now to the accessibility panel and head to the paragraph element. As you can see, it has the role paragraph. Using the paragraph element for short text. Even though paragraph element is for paragraphs, it's still acceptable to use it for short pieces of text like a sentence or a single word if you want that text to be treated as a block level element, meaning it will have its own space and margin around it. You would be using then the paragraph element. Using inline elements for short text. If you want to display a short sentence or word without affecting the block level layout, you can use inline elements like the span element, the emphasis element, or the strong element, or others depending on the purpose of the text. When to use which? Use the paragraph element when you want the text to appear as a separate block, like a standalone sentence or short phrase that needs its own spacing. Use inline elements like the span element, the emphasis element, or the strong element when you need to emphasize style or display short text within other content without affecting the layout. Later on, I will explain more about these elements. Let's not forget also about headings. Headings from H1 to H6 are intended for titles or section headings, which are typically short sentences or phrases that define sections of content. These are not meant for general text content like paragraphs, sentences, or individual words, but they are ideal for making titles and giving structure to a document. Why add the paragraph element? Clarity and structure. Adding the paragraph element ensures that your content is well structured and readable. It separates thoughts and ideas clearly within the document. Semantics. The paragraph element tells browsers and assistive technologies like screen readers that the content inside is a paragraph, which can improve accessibility. Consistency. Modern browsers style paragraph with default spacing, so using the paragraph element ensures a consistent layout across different browsers. When to use the paragraph element? When you need to display a block of text that forms a complete thought or set of related sentences. Whenever you want to separate pieces of text into individual blocks for better readability. If the content naturally fits into a paragraph form, use the paragraph element to organize it. Now here are common mistakes with the paragraph element. Nesting block elements inside the paragraph element. Block level elements like the div element, the H1 element, the unordered list element should not be placed inside a paragraph element. Only inline elements like the anchor element, the strong element, or the emphasis element, and so on can go inside paragraphs. In this example over here, there is a paragraph element that contains within the paragraph element an unordered list. This approach is obviously incorrect. The correct way is to type the paragraph element and close the paragraph element. Afterwards, you can add any other elements in this example an unordered list. Omitting closing tags. HTML5 allows self-closing tags, but omitting the closing paragraph element can lead to unexpected layout issues. So in this example over here, you can see we have two paragraph elements but without their closing tags. The correct way is to ensure that you do not forget the opening and the closing tag. Unintentional inline elements. You can include an inline image within a paragraph element, as you can see in this example. However, keep in mind that the image will be treated as part of the text flow, meaning it will align with the text. If the image is too large, it might break the layout of the paragraph. You can control the size and alignment of the image using the CSS if needed, but this is an unfriendly approach. So I wouldn't recommend adding an image element inside of a paragraph element. Instead, just type the paragraph element and close it, then add the image element. Tips and best practices for using the paragraph element. Keep paragraphs short. Long paragraphs are harder to read, especially on mobile devices. Try to keep each paragraph focused on a single idea. Use semantic nesting. Only inline elements like the span element, the anchor element, or the emphasis element should go inside the paragraph element. Block elements like lists or divisions should be placed outside. Use spacing wisely. Instead of using the break element, which I will be explaining later on, to create visual space between ideas, use multiple paragraph tags to separate thoughts. Combine with CSS for better styling. While the paragraph element adds basic structure, you can also enhance its appearance using CSS. For example, you can adjust the line height, the margins, and text alignments. We have reached the end of today's video. I hope it was useful. Thank you all for watching.